Now a certain man, Lazarus of Bethany, this was the village of Mary and her sister Martha. Mary was the one who anointed Jesus with perfume and wiped his feet with her hair. Her brother, Lazarus, was ill. So the sisters sent a message to Jesus saying, "The one whom you loved is ill." But when Jesus heard it, he said, "This illness does not lead to death. Rather, it is for the glory of God, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it." And though Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, after hearing the message, he stayed where he was for 2 more days. Now, after that time, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let us go to Jerusalem again." And the disciples said to him, "Lord, the Judeans were just now trying to stone you, and you want to go there again?" But Jesus said to them, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Those who walk in the daylight do not stumble because the light is in them. But those who walk at night stumble because the light is not in them." And after saying this, he said to his disciples, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep." Well, they said to him, "Well, Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he will be all right." Jesus had been talking about Lazarus' death, but the disciples thought he was talking merely about sleep. So then Jesus said to them plainly, "Lazarus is dead. But for your sake, I am glad that I was not there, so that you might believe. Come, let us go." And then Thomas, the one called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Come, let us go too, so that we might die with him." Now, when Jesus arrived, Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. Now, Bethany is not far from Jerusalem, only about a couple of miles. And the Judeans had come from Jerusalem and were with the sisters, Mary and Martha, consoling them about their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was near, she got up and hurried out to him, though her sister Mary remained at home. And Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, our brother would not have died. But even now, I know that God will do whatever you ask." And Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." And she said, "I know, Lord, that he will rise at the resurrection on the last day." And Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, though they die, will rise again. And those who believe in me and yet live will never die. Do you believe this?" And Martha said, "Yes, I believe that you are the Messiah, the one coming into the world." And then Martha left Jesus and went back to her home and called her sister Mary and said to her privately, "The teacher is here and wants to see you." And Mary got up quickly and went out to where Jesus was. Now Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was still out in the place where he had met Martha. Now the Judeans who had come to the house consoling Mary saw her get up and go out, and so they followed her, thinking that she was going to the tomb to weep there. But when Mary came up to Jesus, she fell on her knees at Jesus' feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." And when Jesus saw her weeping, and the Judeans who had come with her weeping, he was greatly disturbed in his spirit and greatly moved. And so he said to them, "Where have you laid him?" And they said, "Lord, come and see." And Jesus wept. And the Jews said, "You see how he loved him." But others said, "Well, couldn't he who opened the eyes of the blind man not kept this man from dying?" Now Jesus, greatly moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with a large stone rolled against it. And Jesus said, "Take away the stone." But Martha said, "Lord, there will be a stench, for my brother has been in there 4 days." And Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. And Jesus looked up into heaven and said, "Lord, I thank you that you have heard me. I know that you always hear me, but I have said this on account of those standing here, so that they may believe that you have sent me." And when he finished this, Jesus said in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" And the dead man came out of the tomb, his hands and his feet bound with strips of cloth, and there was a cloth over his face. And Jesus said, "Unbind him and set him free." And the Jews who had come with Mary, when they saw what Jesus did, they believed in him